welcome back to the channel. Carrying on with the Triumph. Last episode, obviously, we got the mudguard polished, back in, reassembled all that rear end. So we're going to start moving forward and hit the area that I have never really been good at, but it's got to be done. So we're going to concentrate today on the central electrics and then try and get the wiring up to the coils, so that clears that out of the way, and then we can get the side panel fitted with the switch and the ignition. Like I've said in many videos, I'm just working through it slowly. This has been a new entity to me to actually learn and try what it's like to work on an old classic British bike. But it has been such fun. I've really enjoyed it. It has been absolutely amazing. I mean, I've said many times, I can't thank the owners of this enough for giving me the opportunity. It means so much. You know, and I hope I'm doing them proud by rebuilding this bike for their late father. So as I say, we're going to start on the electrics, start to move through, try and get up to the coils, and then we can move through to the front of the bike. So let me show you the wiring as it is at the moment. Right, so this is what we're going to be dealing with. So I've got the ignition. I think that's the light switch. Luckily, as I said, a lot of the actual wires are actually labelled, which helps me out no end. So the original rectifier, upper and lower, we won't be using, because we're using a regulator rectifier, so we'll actually need them two wires. We've actually got the brake switch to do, as you remember when we fitted that, so that will come up through. I think the main thing is trying to work out all these terminals here. They obviously clamp to the frame, I'd imagine. So we've got rear brake switch, and that is from the actual tail light for the brake. Again, obviously we're going to have battery terminals in here as well. So yeah, that's the earth lead. And then we've got the two mystery, these were hanging loose Y leads. Also I did spot right, so we've also got the regulator rectifier lead to come up. Which will go to these two. That's typical now, I can't actually find it. There is a lead that comes through that actually connects from the electronic ignition. And typical for the life of me, I can't actually see where they are. No, so that's one thing I'll have to try and work out from here. Obviously all the coil are numbered, but it is finding a home for this one. I say the front wiring shouldn't be too bad. Most of that's all in situ. So yeah, it's trying to make sense of where these two connect to. But that'll be our job for today, is try and figure out the wiring. And actually have a look at the wiring diagrams from the Haynes manual, and also try and work out which one it is, because obviously there's 6 volt and there's 12 volt systems. So we know that this bike was exported after it was made, so it could be that we're working from this one. But we'll just take it wire by wire and just work through from back through to middle, and then try and work these ones out. But that's the plan for today. Alright, so still looking through the Haynes manuals. Now that's telling me home market from 24875 DU number engine. But I know this was obviously built here but sent to the States. Or it could be that one, which is also from the same engine number. Because the engine number we've got is DU28668. So I think we're either looking at this plan or this plan. Because obviously some of the wires have been changed, because it should be from the ammeter to the negative terminal should be brown blue, and then red goes to frame. Oh, that's a brown blue as well. So of course obviously the ammeter is in the front, so it's where is there a brown blue that comes out from here. Well, we know it's not them two. Right, so I think to start with, if we work from the back and match up the actual colours, so the bright switch in brown, there's the brake switch in white, which will come up from this one, which is the brake switch. So that should be then brown, into brown, white and brown into white and brown. So let's get those connected. Right, so that's from the brake switch, that's from the tail light, so that's brown to brown, and we'll take off the labels as we go. Right, so now these ones, so brake switch white into white and brown into brown. And like I say, it's where all these terminals actually going to. Let's disconnect these. So I'd imagine these are actually terminals that are actually fit into the frame. Right, so we know we've got tail lights done. So the original rectifier shouldn't, in theory, be using them two. So for now, let's wrap them labels round and then just tape them together. Right, so to regulate a rectifier podtronic, it's these two. And they need to connect up with the black lead that's coming up from the regulator rectifier. That one off. Right, so we've got a ring terminal there. That could possibly be fit into the frame. So for now, put that one through there. She's a slightly shorter bolt. Right, so I'll leave that loosely fitted there. We've got another one and another one. So that seems to be all the wiring there. So the actual red lead, which is that terminal at the moment, just hooked it in the back of this bolt. That should be the bolt that holds the side panel on. And they're the mystery hanging ones. So also going back to these two, this actually does run in to the frame, so the Podtronic electronic ignition actually connects into the frame, so it's just working out where these two go to. And then obviously hooking these up, so that's two, that's one, so there's one, there's two, so five, and she runs through. It should connect to this one. When I can actually get the piece of tape off. And we've got 4. Right, so 3. And 4. So I've got 4 to this one and 5 to this one, so I've just got to take these tape off and we can connect those two. But then it's working out where these two go to. Right, so them terminals are now fitted. I ended up taking off the coil just so I could clean these terminals up. So now it's working out these. Obviously that cable tie is a later addition. But looking at the wiring diagram, so there should be a white connecting the coils and then a white back to the ignition switch. And I've got one terminal there and one terminal there. Well, in actual fact I've got one terminal here as well. So I've got 2 terminals on this side, 1 terminal on this side. So I would say that this one, the double one, should connect to this one, and the single one connect to that back terminal at the end of my finger. So let's just cut that. Loop that one through. And then connect that one up. So that is making sense, a white to join the two of them. Yellow goes to earth. Engine cutout switch and contact breakers, which is now electronic ignition. So stop sample switch and light, brown, white, connects in, comes out, and again is earthed. I was thinking that is just about right, so I say for now I've got that one there. Need to find this one. That is possibly the other battery. So the two with the yellow ends should be batteries. So I need to find the blue-red. So we're looking for a red terminal and a blue-red. Unfortunately, I can't see a blue-red. Plenty of reds. Alright, I think I found the blue-red that does run into a red. Again, it's another earth terminal. Right, I've just dug out the actual side panel. And this looks like this is going to be a barrel of laughs to fit, because it basically fits in like that. But as you can see, the bolts fit from underneath inside, so that should be fun. That's the one I was expecting, but also rear brake loom actually comes up through, so this lead we've connected needs to fit through, but we've also got ones that come up and fit through these too, so that should be from the rectifier, and then we can fit the two switches. Right, so let me give this a clean up first, and then we'll have to disconnect this lead and fit it through there. And if I can, I don't think I'll be able to actually, no. It's a double. Originally it would have been singles. So we can get this one fitted. So I'll give this a polish up, and then we can put the ignition and this switch also in place. I'm still baffled of where these go. So that's the side cover done. Actually came out quite well. So like I say, I've just got the rear brake switch lead to filter through that one. Then we can get the two switches in place and then try and work out how to fit this, because the actual nuts are actually underneath, just to make it really easy for me. unless it is a case of battery box out, because it doesn't actually connect to the battery box, that's just hanging loose by, that's not there, so it connects there and there, and then onto that one. And so these two will fit into the actual side panel itself. So disconnect this one and we'll get that fed through and fed in. Right, so this is the lead I need. Right, so them wires feed through. They're actually not, they're just nuts, not actual bolts. Right, I still may have to take out the battery box. Right, so we'll leave that there for a minute. I'm just going to take out the battery box for a minute. And then I should be able to have a bit more space for manoeuvrability. Yes, I should be able to fit that from the top. And also I can give the battery box a really good clean up. Oh, that's better. Yes, I can get to these now from underneath, which is great. Right, so now I've got to work out which switch goes through. I think that one goes through the top, ignition through the bottom. Excellent. Right, so that's the ignition. I'll leave that hanging for a minute. Now we've got this switch. Yeah, it seems to be a 3-position. Right, so let me get a screwdriver, take out this middle one, and then we should be able to fit that through the panel. Right, so that's got a screw thread on that behind. Right, so that goes through. Then there's the square nut. Then the actual switch. And then the screw that holds it all in place. And that all works perfectly. Right. So now it's a case of right, let me just get this nut that's on the actual side panel. So that's the side one done. Now I can actually get these ones from the underside. So that's one in place. It's just loose at the moment. And that's the other one. So literally, you should be just about to be able to see them. I've just got to tighten them up. And there's the one from the side. And the switch works, so we've just got to connect the brake switch up. Right, so they're now all tight. And I've fed the leads up. And they're actually now connected. So all the wiring now is tucked in behind. Apart from me hanging, don't know where they go wires. So now I can get the battery tray which is now out, and the bracket that holds it. That bracket connects over here, so it slides down and has that bracket in front. The only thing I have got to work out is where this pipe, because that's the overflow from the oil tank that goes into it, and it splits. So one of them actually runs to the back of the bike and nicely enough drops it on the rear tyre. But I need to find out where the other side goes to and maybe look at doing something with that, because I mean, if that overflows, you don't want oil on the rear tyre, which is a weird idea. but that's where it was fed through, so I will double check it, make sure that is correct. It does seem a bit weird to me, but no, I still need to work out where that goes. So basically wiring is all connected from the front through the centre. I've just literally got earth terminals, battery terminals, yes, a battery terminal there, battery terminal there. These must be frame terminals, so at the moment I'll just connect them through. Well, that one will have to go somewhere else because that's quite small, but they can stay together. All other leads are done, rectifiers wired in, and obviously the lead that goes down to the connectors, I may just shove a tie around them. So the wiring loom connects through. Oh, before I lose it, just need to tighten up that nut, but that one's done. Probably next episode we'll start on the front end, because obviously I've got a gaiter to replace, so I need to actually drop the fork to get the gaiter on, and obviously strip out the front mudguard, and then we can clean the wheel. So not a huge amount left to actually do. Right, so thanks for joining me on that one. As I say, electrics has never been my strong point. Luckily that is fairly simple-ish. I still need to work out where them 2 extra wires are going to, but we'll know more obviously once I get a battery in there, and then obviously turn the key and see what works actually on the electrics. Like I said, next episode we're going to concentrate on the front end. I think basically I've just got a bit more cleaning to do on the other side, the oil tank side. That's just literally just giving it a wipe down and just freshening it up. Engine, as I say, I'm going to give that another clean while I'm in there, check all the nuts and bolts, so we'll come to that after we've done the actual front end. Any comments in the comments box below? You know, I appreciate all your feedback, all your comments. I get some great comments from people. It really means a lot. It helps me grow. It helps me learn as well. You know, bouncing ideas off people is always great. As I say, not too many people seem to be doing or have done Triumphs. As, like I say, maybe 3 or 4. So it is quite an unknown entity, but quite a fun project to do. I really wouldn't mind now after this doing another one. That would really interest me. But as I say, we've got plenty of work lined up after this Triumph, so we'll crack through that and look at that in the future. There are links to other videos at the end of the video, and as always, appreciate your support. Thanks for watching. Join me again next time. Cheers. Bye.